Hello, my name is Dakshinamurthy, and I'm an entrepreneur and the founder of Startup Malaysia. And Startup Malaysia basically exists to help early stage and first time entrepreneurs figure out what they need to know and do to get started. We are somewhat like a venture school. There are many accelerator programs that help entrepreneurs with ideas go on and take the ideas to market. But what we do is, before they go into accelerators, we help young people or first-time entrepreneurs to figure out actually what they need to know and do to get their venture going, even define their ideas and why they are doing it. So that's what Startup Malaysia is about. I would like to thank UITM and the committee at FReN-C for inviting me today to give this keynote. And the title of my keynote is Entrepreneurship in Turbulent Times. How do you succeed in times of uncertainty? At the moment we are experiencing uncertainty, but actually uncertainty has been here all throughout our lifetime. Since time immemorial, the world has been besieged with uncertainty, with chaos and with complexity. But we have been taught and we have been educated to believe or to predict the world and to see that we can forecast the world. Of course, there are many things that we can forecast. How much food does the world need in 2030? How much water are we consuming? And what are the flight paths? Some of the things we can predict. But if we look closely, there are a lot of things that we cannot predict. What's going to happen to our projects? What's going to happen to our jobs? Look at 2020. How many of you have imagined that you will be coming face to face with a pandemic where the whole world has come to a standstill? Economies have collapsed. People have lost jobs. How many people have predicted that? So we are coming close and face to face with uncertainty. And how does one succeed when things are uncertain, when things are unpredictable, when the future is unknown and unknowable? So this is what we are going to discuss. The world is uncertain, as we have seen, and there has been a lot of research done on finding how does one navigate and become successful with uncertainty. If you look at technology has basically become, there's been a tremendous growth in technology. The world was flat from 1400 onwards, but suddenly in 2000 there has been an exponential growth in technology. There's been a huge, a surge of technological innovation since 2000, and it's only been growing. This is largely due to Moore's law, where it says the power of the chip actually doubles with the price that drops, the price of chips that drops, So there has been a great surge in innovation, and therefore that has brought us to also have accelerated the nature of the world, which is an uncertain world. Here there are two numbers that I would like you to fathom, and one is 2029 and the other is 2049. 2029, AI will move towards something that is more general AI, which basically means that artificial intelligence will surpass human intelligence in 2029, and that's not really far away. 2049, it is predicted that the intelligence of the computer, or the intelligence of artificial intelligence, will be 1 billion times that of human intelligence. That's 1 billion times. Go Modat, who is the engineer at Google and now an author and a podcaster, says that is actually equals to the intelligence of the fly compared to intelligence of Einstein. And this could happen, this is going to happen in our lifetime. And that is going to bring about more uncertainty in the world. Ponder on that. How are we going to navigate? What is it? What does it mean to be human when technology takes over our own intelligence? And how are we going to work? What are we going to do? And what does it mean really for us to be innovative? You know, and this is a point of singularity, and they say that when AI actually surpasses human intelligence, that's a point of singularity, that you cannot predict anymore what is going to happen and how far technology is going to take over the world. You know, this is like amazing. So in an uncertain and unpredictable world where the future is unknown and unknowable, I come back to the question, how does one act and succeed? So this brings us back to the question of entrepreneurship and where does it fit in this. So this is when Professor Saraswati, who is a professor at Darden Business School, she studied entrepreneurs and serial entrepreneurs and what she called as expert entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs who have started companies from 200 million to 65 billion and who has taken at least one company public, and she studied them closely for over 20 years. And she found that entrepreneurs actually operate in times of uncertainty, in conditions of uncertainty, chaos and unpredictability. And she found that entrepreneurs use a few principles in which they actually navigate this uncertainty. And Professor Saraswati says that this is something that all of us can use. The entrepreneurial principles or the entrepreneurial method is something that everyone can use in our day-to-day life. So what is this entrepreneurial method, or what is this, what she calls as the science of venturing, that we can use, that we can internalize in ourselves so that we too can navigate uncertainty and we too can somewhat succeed in the uncertain world. You know, when we look at entrepreneurs, we always think of those people who start companies, you know, but today the thinking is different, that everyone should be entrepreneurial, but not everyone will start companies, says Eric Ries. And when we look at entrepreneurs, what do we say? We say that, you know, they start company, they have an idea, and once they have an idea, they go and do market research, they show there's a huge market for a particular solution, they gather the resources, the money, the people, and then they build and grow and go to market. So we see this kind of growth. We say this is what we call the causal thinking, that from ideas to growth to resources to, you know, going to market. But is this how entrepreneurs think? And Professor Saras says, no, that's not how entrepreneurs think. She says that the entrepreneurs start with what she calls the inversion of entrepreneurship, or the effectual process, where they say the entrepreneurs start with the means, who they are, what they know, and who they know. And they start with that, and this is what entrepreneurs begin with. And from there they go to say, what can I do, given the resources that I have, given the people I know, and given what I know, what is it that I can do, and what is it that I can do within my means, which means within what I can afford to lose. And entrepreneurs figure out that's what they need to do. And from there they go and start talking to people and interacting with people and asking them, look, this is something that I want to do. How can you help me? How can you come into this venture? Or how can you come into this project, and what can you contribute from what you can afford to lose? And from there, they suggest that the entrepreneur gets some kind of commitment from people who want some skin in the game. You know, say, okay, you know, this is very interesting, this is something I can do. And they'll say, okay, I can help you in this way, or I can help you by introducing you to people, or I can help you by investing a little bit of money. And entrepreneurs get these kind of stakeholder commitments from other people who also want to help, but they not necessarily want to make your vision happen, but they want to make their version of your vision want to happen. And this is how the ventures actually evolve, and from there you get new means, that means new things that you can do, and that will actually now you becomes who are we, what can we do, and what can we make of these. And from that we will have new goals and new ventures. This is where innovation happens. This is where innovation, unlike most people, they think that there is a path to building a unicorn or building a global company. Innovation happens in surprises, and innovation gives rise to new cycle of constraints. But you know, the world is there. The world is probably will throw some surprises. It calls it the lemonade principle, and you know, entrepreneurs and stakeholders work around these constraints to make these things happen. And this, Professor Saras says, is how expert entrepreneurs think, and these are things that is teachable. These are principles that are teachable and learnable, that all of us can learn. And this is what we call the entrepreneurial method. The entrepreneurial method, we believe, should be taught to everyone, even including children, like the scientific method. And this will enable children and young people to navigate the uncertain world. Like I said earlier, everyone should be entrepreneurial, but not everyone will go out and start companies. From a practice perspective, what can you do? What does an entrepreneur, what does an entrepreneurial person who is effectual do? They accept uncertainty as a given, they focus on doing the doable, and they practice how to act and how to ask. So what can you do today that will enable you to learn the entrepreneurial method, to learn to navigate the uncertainty that is surrounding us? What can you do on a daily basis? I think there are three things that you need to think about. One is to identify what is it that you want to achieve, what is your desired, what is it that you desire that you want to make happen. And the second thing is start small, take the first step, define what is it that what can you afford to lose, what are your affordable or acceptable loss, and act. And when you act, it changes the dynamics of nature, and you learn from your action and you start building on that action. So essentially you need to do two things, and one is you have to act, and one is you have to ask people to help you. That is being entrepreneurial, and that is all that is an entrepreneurial, being entrepreneurial. You know, I would like to close this keynote by quoting Professor Yunus, who says we are all human beings are entrepreneurs. When we were in the caves, when we were starting, as civilization came, and before it became called labor, we were all entrepreneurs. We were all venturesome. We were creating things, and we were creating the world that we live in. With that, I would like to thank everyone for listening to this keynote. And yes, happy venturing, everyone. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to all of you. First, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the organizer, the Faculty of Management and Business, University Teknologi Mara, Branch Negeri Sembilan, for organizing this conference. Thank you so much for inviting me to share some knowledge that inshallah will be useful to all presenters and participants. Dear presenters and participants, why we are here? Yes, of course, we are here because we want to share our research findings. When we present our research finding, indirectly, we support the theme of this conference. How? During this one-day conference, we will be listening to many topics in the area of economics, finance, management, marketing, and entrepreneurship. We are engaging our minds with different perspectives of management, in the end of the day, everybody here, either the organizer, the presenter, or the participants, will be able to empower their knowledge. Dear presenters and participants, today I speak in front of you because I want to share and I want to discuss about one aspect of management. I call it as human resource management. I believe this is not a new term or concept to all of you. Why? Because most of us currently working in organization. Whether we work at higher education institution, banking, retail, small and medium enterprise, factory, or automotive sector, we have been managed by human resource department in our current organization. Dear presenters and participants, what is human resource management? Human resource management refers to all policies, practices, and systems that influence employees' attitude and performance. I believe all of us have gone through the human resource management practices. If we still remember, few years back, or 10 to 15 years back, we start searching for job by sending our curriculum vitae to various organizations. Then, we attend selection tests and interview. During the interview, we negotiate salary and benefits. After we accept the offer, we attend training and development program, and we work so hard to fulfill our key performance indicator for performance appraisal in the end of the year. We also try our best to fulfill all requirements for career development and follow all rules and regulations to avoid any discipline matter such as verbal warning, warning letter, and termination. That is human resource management. Now, let's focus our intention to the implementation of human resource management practices nowadays, especially in the era of post-pandemic COVID-19. In general, when we observe the organization in the era of post-pandemic COVID-19, most of them still apply the similar human resource management practices. But the challenge nowadays in managing human resource in organization is to fulfill the employee's expectation. What is the employee's expectation nowadays? First, they demand to increase their salary. A study in Malaysian context shows that employees feel the current salary was not in line with the task given, especially in food and beverage sector such as restaurant, nurse profession, and construction sector. This demand not only raised up by employees in Malaysia, but also it was required by airport workers in France, railway workers in the United Kingdom, and the lorry driver in South Korea. What I want to highlight here, this is one of the global issues related to human resource management. In my opinion, the demand from employees regarding salary increase is reasonable because the cost of living nowadays all over the world is considered high. To address the issue, the government of Malaysia, for instance, has introduced a policy for minimum salary, which is RM1,500 starting on 1st May 2022. The similar initiative has been taken also by the government of South Korea. Presenters and participants. The second challenge is the idea to reduce working day to 4 days per week. This idea has been recently highlighted with the belief that this approach able to improve mental health and work-life balance among workers. In fact, there is a company have proved it. For instance, an education company such as EduWheel in South Korea already implement 4 days working per week since 2019. Countries such as Iceland also already proved that reducing working day per week with full payment does not affect the employee's productivity. As a result, other countries such as the United Kingdom has implemented this policy recently with involvement of 3,300 workers from 70 organizations. The duration for this pilot project is 6 months. Other countries that will follow this policy by the end of this year are Belgium, Scotland, and Spain. In Asian context, the Japanese multinational company such as Hitachi will also implement 4 days working per week among their 15,000 workers by the end of this year. Presenters and participants. The third demand from employees is they require a flexible working time. This demand increased as a result of working from home during 2 years pandemic COVID-19. The recent study conducted in 2021 among 5,500 employees from 7 developed countries such as the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, France, Germany, and Japan indicate that 51% of respondents prefer for flexible working time. In Malaysian context, a recent study among 1,300 employees, which consists of senior manager, managing director, human resource expert, and senior IT officer, indicate that 68% prefer hybrid work model. What is hybrid work model? It means a rotation between work from home and work at the office. From the government policy perspective, flexible working time is possible to implement in Malaysia, but subject to approval from employer. According to Dasar Gaji Negara, if employer allow their employees to take flexible working time, the employees are entitled to receive full salary as stated in employment contract. Presenters and participants. These are 3 challenges faced by organizations nowadays in managing human resource. Whatever the decision, whether to accept or not the idea, the consideration must give benefit to both parties, which is employee and employer. Both parties need each other. At one side, the employees need the job to generate income for their life survival. At another side, employer need employee to achieve the organizational goals. With the support from technology advancement and consideration to different generation personality, I believe the 3 previous demands or challenges are possible to be implemented at least in certain sector in Malaysia. I hope the presentation today able to support the theme of this conference, particularly regarding the issue of human resource management. Thank you so much for organizer for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Finally, to all presenters and participants, enjoy the conference, and hopefully this conference able to engage your mind and empower your knowledge about the current issue in economic, finance, management, marketing, and entrepreneurship. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.